Welcome to the Double Chins Wagon podcast, where Rae and Lindsey discuss the absurdities of being millennial moms in rural America and the challenges of living authentically. Please leave a review, subscribe, and interact with us by visiting doublechinswagon.com. Now we hope you enjoy the show.
It's the best place to start. Do you ever watch Do you ever watch Game Changer?
I don't know.
It's a college humor
No.
skit thing. It's a game show that the game changes every time.
Wait,
And
is
they
that the
don't-
thing that we were watching after
We may
Night
have,
Witch?
yeah.
Is it British?
We could have, yeah. No. Oh, no, that
never
was
mind.
Taskmaster,
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
which I also love. No, Game Changer has Sam Reich as the host, and the game changes every time, and they don't tell the players what the game is.
Okay.
They just have to play it to figure it out. So yeah, and he says something like the best way to learn is by beginning, and the best way to begin is by something or whatever.
That's pretty true.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It wasn't very good.
It's all good. So
I
what's
had
up?
to move. I moved my desk upstairs.
You did.
As you can see, hopefully by next week when we're recording, it'll be a little bit better put together, because you can see the mirror on my dresser fell.
Oh, that was the thing that you wanted Chris Bathgate to help fix.
Just as a testament to how long it's
It's
been
been
down.
since least this last spring.
No. I wanted him to. This fell in October, I think.
Then what was the other? You did mention the mirror at some point, but I don't know.
I don't remember. But I also want my back deck taken care of. And that was a thing we talked about in the spring, because my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law came up and they were like, oh, we'll take care of that. Well, we can all work on that together. And then we didn't.
That sounds like a great idea. That definitely, yeah, I can understand. Yeah, I can understand why that didn't happen.
Yeah, we just did other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's a project that I think we've been putting off for 5 years now.
Yeah,
So.
us too, until this past year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I moved upstairs. I never have doors on my closet. Literally the only reason that door is there, because I hang stuff on it to decide outfits. It's
Good
really
idea.
convenient. I'll put hangers in the slots to see if I like something. The other side I just took off because I don't see the point in having a door on it. Yeah. My vacuum is up here because when I was moving stuff around, I was vacuuming. I don't usually keep vacuum in my bedroom. No, it's not a thing. But because I was moving things, and I still have more stuff that I want to shift around. But yeah, this is probably the view you guys are going to get now is my bedroom.
You still need a light that I'm going to get you for your face.
So yeah, I actually have a lamp that I'm going to put over here that should
Eliminate your beauty.
Part of that. Illuminate.
Mm-hmm.
It should resolve some of that.
Perfect.
Situation. I did learn today, though, the app that we use to record this does not like to let me use the visual effects.
No.
Blur it in the background so you guys didn't have to see my disaster. And it wouldn't work. It was like, download the Mac app. And I'm like, fuck you, Apple. And that's what I said to it, because Android for life, Samsung for life, fuck you, Apple. That's how I feel about it.
I have no comment. We're starting to realize we're on the opposite ends of a lot of spectrums, but it's for funny things.
Yeah.
Like you like Tupac, I like Biggie. Like East Coast, West Coast. We're always gonna have a fight about that. I love Apple. You do not.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. When it comes to theater, play or musical?
I am more of a play person. You like musicals?
I love the musicals.
For
I
some
love them
reason,
so hard.
I mean, my grandma used to take me to the Stratford Festival, if you've ever heard of that, in Canada.
That's the Shakespeare one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a child, a very young child, so I don't even have solid memories of this, is how young I was. But we would go every year.
and we would see Shakespeare, but then there was always some sort of other thing also playing. And I saw quite a few musicals with her. The thing I struggle with the most is just, maybe it's because I have a problem with processing information. Like, it takes extra effort to get the full story when you're listening to someone sing it versus just talk, right?
Which surprises me because you are so musical.
I know.
You feel music so deeply.
I do.
So that surprises me.
But it also,
in the theatrical setting on the stage, you're not feeling it.
That was our 5-minute intro. So
nice.
Real quick, we went on hiatus, and it's mostly because of me. Sorry, everybody. Not that that is ruining too many lives, but yeah.
Life is hard, friends.
It is hard just because it's snowing all the time, and depression is a thing, I think, and
yeah,
all that.
I read a study about depression once. I think it's real. I believe it.
Well,
let's talk about how RFK Jr. thinks that we don't need antidepressants anymore.
I don't even want to, because my life would not be good if
I would cry so much.
I probably wouldn't survive long, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would probably turn into a reckless, ridiculous person and off myself in some irresponsible way. Unintentionally, but just get into some stupid situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed talking to you.
Me too. Yeah. And so that was a part of me getting my shit together and just realizing that, I mean, I've been super busy lately, and it's been all work, no play, basically. And I didn't realize how much I actually enjoy this until we stopped doing it. So, and so many people have asked me about it. It's so weird. And people that I don't even know, the fact that some people are paying attention, whatever. I guess we're easy to listen to, according to some, and we're very relatable.
I hear that same thing, that we're relatable and that we're funny, and that makes people feel better when we joke about the dumb parts of our lives.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of,
thank you guys all for listening.
Yeah. Do you have any fun, not sober stories to share from recent days?
No, I'm going to sell out Liam for a second, though. So last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I went out on a Wednesday night, and it was unpleasant. I was in a salty mood to begin with, and then I started drinking, which usually is very funny, but in this particular scenario, because I was real worked up, like I was just mad about stuff. And so then I was just an asshole. I was very loud. I was very noisy. I was very interrupty. And then I was kind of just mean to Liam, which, bless his sweetheart, like, he tried to make me sleep downstairs because he was like, I'm mad at you. You have to sleep downstairs. And I was like, don't be stupid. And then I got him back. But he was trying so hard to be mad at me. And so I got a little bit of finger shaking about my attitude and drinking when I have that bad attitude. So I took a 2-day break from drinking, which I know does not.
To me, I know that that's a lot to ask of you.
I like to drink. I like the taste of cocktails. I like beer. I like the social elements of it. I'm very fortunate I don't have an addictive personality. And so when I get shamed or challenged to not drink, I'm like, all right, fucking bring it. So I didn't. And it was my sweet, sweet daughter. We were sitting at the house. So this was last Monday. Usually we do High Movie Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my friend little Lucas, who comes over, he was not coming over because we'd gotten together for the Super Bowl and everyone was having some struggles following that. It was just so fucking boring. Like, so then we just all got wasted and made great choices. So Lucas didn't come over for Monday. And so I was just chilling in the back, and Liam and I were going to watch a movie, and Glipey comes back and she's like, are you high? Because I think she wanted to ask something, right? She needed something. Yeah. And I was like, no. And she's like, but it's Monday. And I was like, yeah, but Dad told me I've been drinking and smoking too much, so I had to take a break. And she's like, what? And looked at Liam like it was crazy. Why would you say that to her? And I start crying laughing. It was amazing. So I addressed what she needed, and then I went to Rolita.
This is over.
Yeah.
We're done now.
And I was very responsible. I didn't yell at anybody while I was there, which was the problem on Wednesday, was I was yelly and not very nice. So I took a little bit of a break, but I also learned, so speaking of musicals, on Friday, I went over to Tip in the Mitten / Flowers by Josie, and I was helping them do floral arrangements for Valentine's Day because it's crazy busy, right? They're the only florist around here. They have 10 bazillion orders to send out, and I like wrapping flowers. Why not? So I went over there and I was helping my friends out, and I learned that Kate over there does not love musicals, which was really unfortunate because that's my go-to work music is a musical mix so that I can sing along to all the things while I'm doing tasks that I don't have to think about. So while I'm cleaning or while I'm sitting there wrapping flowers for 10 hours, I'm singing along. And there are other people who are back there also working who are getting into it. And Kate is like, I fucking hate you guys. It's just miserable.
Her and I would have been on the same page, but
yeah. But they all got a really beautiful rendition of Seasons of Love. So fuck you guys.
I'm sure
It's
it was
from
beautiful.
Rent.
I don't know that because I'm not a musical person, but I need to ask an opinion. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we've talked about this officially. Maybe I posed the question in our chat at some point. However, I'm going to my first Broadway musical in May. And
is this the Jonas Brothers thing?
Yeah, the Nick Jonas thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's a show that has been made into a movie, and there's a soundtrack from like the original production, and I've never ingested any of that content. Is it better to go to a musical and have it be a fresh, new, you don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be of the story, or is it better to go somewhat familiar?
So for me, if it's a relatively new show, then I want to go into it blind. I want to know a little bit, right? But I don't want to know more than one or two songs that are just happen to be out in the world. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, my preference is if it's a new show. If it's an established show, I didn't see Wicked for the first time until 2019, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it had been out for a minute. And so that one, I was pretty familiar with all of that show before I went and saw it. And I think that made it better because when a show has been out longer, you're more likely to encounter an audience that also is familiar with the show.
Right.
And so that kind of like hum along. It's like when you go to the movies to see a classic film that having a random screening, everyone knows it. Ooh, so Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. Right. So that's if you had just seen it for the first time at home, whatever, who cares? But if you're going to a production of that, if you're going out to see it, you want to know what you're getting yourself into.
Especially with that, because there's a lot of crowd participation.
Yeah. So like that's how I feel about shows that have been out longer. So if this is a revival of a show, especially if it's a movie, like you're likely to run into an audience or crowd that already has a pretty good understanding. And so if you go in there totally blind, you may miss some of the nuance because of the energy around you. So it would probably be useful for you to have a little bit of experience or exposure to it before you go.
A little bit.
That would be my recommendation.
Have you ever heard of The Last 5 Years? No. Mm-mm. Yeah. I mean, I know the general premise. I think we all know what's going to happen just based on the quick synopsis of the show. It's about a couple that meets in New York, and it's the story of them falling in and then out of love.
Okay.
Over the last 5 years, but I don't know much else outside of that. I've heard some songs only because the Broadway version is starting to release some, but yeah, I don't know. I just didn't know if it would be better to be a virgin or just.
I'm not familiar with the show at all, and that's not to say that I know all the shows, right?
Yeah.
But this feels like one of those that you probably could go in with the information you have and call it good.
And I'm going to be third row. There's only two people. In this production. The couple. That's it. There are
no other actors.
No.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. How is this? Where are you seeing it?
What Hudson Theater on Broadway in New York.
Yeah. Nina Mosquito.
Pretty excited, I guess.
Yeah. What weird shenanigans have you gotten into, buddy?
Yeah. Lately, I feel like I've been getting high and driving around a lot, which is generally speaking not a great combo.
Unsafe.
However, I will say, and not that this makes it okay, I have been smoking weed and driving since I was 16 years old. Because when I was a teenager and I was a stoner, that's where I could get high, is when I was driving around with my friends. You know what I mean? And not much has changed, apparently. Now that I'm 41, the safe space is in my car. And so
it's weird what that cycle is.
I know. It's fun for the most part, and I vibe, I listen to music, and the last few nights have been so snowy and the roads have been so bad. But thankfully, I know where to go and how to keep out of trouble, and yeah, it's been therapeutic, ?
For safety purposes, we do not condone smoking and driving. Friends, make safe,
Yes,
legal choices with your consumption.
I drive by a billboard that says, if you're high,
drive high. Jesus, Lindsey.
It's right down the street from me.
There's one of those on my way home from Kalkaska.
Don't tell me what to do.
You're not my supervisor. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a party.
I feel like I rolled up a bunch of joints for something that we didn't smoke, and now I can't remember where I took them.
Okay, cheat.
It was it was Rolling Oak Mug Club party. That's what it was. And we only smoked 2 of them. I took like 6.
Ooh.
We just stood around the fire. And it was a lovely communal experience.
Out in the garden area or whatever. The yard.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I think I've told you this, but I don't know how to roll a joint.
When I say I rolled it, I really mean that I took my cones and I filled them with flour.
Got it.
I'm super bad at rolling.
Because we went shopping together and we bought.
Yeah. Which those super sweet ones are good. The watermelon ones that I got, those are fucking fat, bro.
Like fat FAT?
I might run downstairs and grab, because I have the normal pink ones that I use, the normal pink cones. So I have one of those. And this other one is, I swear to Christ, it's a fucking arm. It's enormous.
I think you should go get it.
Okay. Don't judge me.
I'm not.
Also, remind me to tell you about my weather.
Ew, okay. So, I guess I'm just going to fill this dead space because I don't know what else to do. Silence is awkward. I see a pupper.
Yeah, so Mupper Dog is back here. 3-Toed Molly got her stitches out. Did I tell you about 3-Toed Molly?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so let me show you what we're working with here. This is perfect. Okay, actually, this is even better. So here's what I'm gonna put it against my sweater. There you go. So it's like normal, and this is the super sweet one. So you can like put the thing, and then this.
The fuck? Why is it that is a group activity one?
It is. It fucking is, dude. Lucas and I had one of these because I had 2 of them.
That's impressive. I would die.
Yeah.
I think. No, I wouldn't. I've been upping my tolerance level, so I think I'd be good.
It was marvelous. So I have these cute glass vials that I put my rolled joints in and stuff. But that fatty there does not fit.
Rude.
Because the top, I know. I was mad, which is why I have this other one, because the top is smaller. It tapers in. But this one, my mom got me the little hash stash box thing. It's super cute. And it came with 2 of these, so that when you like roll it, you can take it with you without crunching your shit, right?
That's good.
I don't think it's as cute. I like the clear ones. Like, I like the glass ones. I think they manage
it looks like a
odor
test tube
in my bag better, because I take my backpack like everywhere. And then Liam is like, babe, you smell like weed. And so the glass
have that problem lately.
The glass ones manage that a little better than the plastic does.
Yeah,
which
the
is why I
plastic
prefer them.
just leaches out.
Yeah.
It is,
which is
weird.
That's why I prefer the glass ones.
Yeah. Well, now that I know that, I'm going to get myself some test tubes so I can relive my college days.
So I just when I buy pre-rolls.
Yeah.
This is what the pre-roll came in. I just peel the label off. Yeah. This one is. Not all of them are. Some of them are plastic.
Yeah,
This
I
one
was
is
gonna say mine
glass.
are plastic.
Well, I think I have a couple glass ones, and if I come across more glass ones, I'll stash them for you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I prefer the glass. And I also, I don't know, I just like them better.
That's cool.
That's it. That's my preference.
So moving on to, any fun, useful things? Okay, so I'm going to take this time to talk about rural life again and the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time getting my ADHD medication again, not because of the shortage issue that may or may not still be at play, but because my insurance company won't cover the non-generic version, and our small town pharmacy does not carry the generic. So I would have had to pay like $300 and some out of pocket. But I needed my medicine because I was already out, and I asked them to just give me like 5 pills and I would pay for those. And then they were like, well, that's going to void this prescription. And I'm like, okay, well, then my doctor can just write a new one, right? And they're like, yeah. A week goes by and the pharmacy just kept not filling it. And I'm like, why? What is going on? They're like, we need an authorization from your insurance company because you just got this prescription filled. I was like, it was only for 5 pills. And they're like, yeah, we do see that. But because of that, we're not allowed to fill it for another month because it's a controlled substance. And I'm like, I don't have any of this and I need it. So what the fuck? So I call my insurance company and I felt so bad for the girl on the phone because by the time I was done talking, I was like, this is not a personal attack, but I totally understand why that dude got fucking offed. This should not be this hard. It should not be this hard. Not to mention that I have to go a fucking hour from my house to get this prescription for $20 at CVS versus paying $300 and some here in my town. Why?
That's exhausting. And it doesn't make any sense. I feel like when we were doing our last recording, I was having a similar problem with my Adavir, which by the way never got resolved. I just don't have it.
That's not good.
So
yeah.
I mean,
that's
I'm
the
glad
alternative.
Hopefully winter's almost over, so
maybe things will get better. Is winter almost over? Doesn't look like
I don't know. There's 9 fucking feet of snow outside.
Legit, I feel like if I didn't have a deck, the snow would be up to my window outside.
So the snow in the driveway. Hold on, Liam is buzzing in. Yes, Liam. Okay, Liam, I'm recording. Can you please not drop in everywhere? Fucking idiot. We have dots around the house, which is usually very convenient because if we don't know where one of the kids, there's one in each of their rooms, there's one in the back room, there's one in the front room, there's one in the kitchen. And so if they're just about doing whatever, it is very convenient sometimes to just be like, drop in everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Or announcement everywhere, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And then that resolves the issue. We have discovered the flaw today. It's because it's President's Day, the children are home from school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mine is thankfully at his grandparents' house.
Nice. Sorry for that delightful interruption. So in the yard, Atticus and Liam go out and snowball everything, right? And so they go out and like take care of the driveway. And right now, like the banks on the side of the drive, like where they go straight down the driveway, it's literally probably 4 feet tall. There's a lot of snow. The other day I was joking because we hadn't been out for a couple of days. We just like, don't know where to go. And so the plows had been coming by the end of the driveway and there was like big buildup, like probably 2 feet tall. And I asked Liam, are we preparing for the White Walkers with our snow wall? And he was like, that was really beautiful, babe. Good job on that. The Game of Thrones throwback. I was like, you're welcome. Yeah.
My animals are outrageous right now.
I hear them.
My God.
Genuinely surprised the cat isn't up here.
It's really nice to hear about someone who has a husband that uses their snowblower.
I would like to note that my son uses it significantly more than my husband does.
Either way, that is a very luxurious life that you're living because
you have a wonky ass drive, bro.
I know. Our driveway is a slope down toward our house and curved in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's not good.
You're going to crash into your garage one day. If you haven't already.
The other night when I got home, was not sober for sure, but I got stuck in the driveway because Trevor had not even shoveled. Because let's be clear, we have was a brand new snowblower. And he has used it like less than 10 times over the last 8 years.
Mine's
And
been used more than that this season.
I know. And it has been warranted because there's been so much fucking snow.
Yeah. I will concede last season, it probably only saw 5 or 8 uses.
Yeah.
But
last
winter
year
was weird. Yeah.
Global warming. Yeah.
Climate change isn't real, guys.
It's not. It's all pretend. That's why I am a professional at disassociation now. Totally.
Skills I've been practicing. Okay, guys, my eyeballs are so itchy right now because with moving all the furniture and everything, obviously some dust. Shit. Yeah, some dust got kicked up in our room. It's been like this for, I don't know, a day and a half now. I'm very over it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But at least you have a nice snowblow driveway.
I do. It's also why the vacuum's in here because I've just been vacuuming everywhere.
Sounds like it needs it. Have I ever asked this question?
I don't know.
Do you or have you ever thought of dusting the top of your door?
Yes.
The actual door itself.
Yeah.
You do it?
Yeah. Well, so I live in an old ass house.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Nothing actually is flush with anything else. So it's very easy for dust to get on top of the door itself. So yeah, whenever I take the vacuum, you can see the molding above my doors and stuff now. If I am vacuuming or dusting that, then I open the door. And also because the doors have the texture, you know?
Yeah.
And so you would dust that. Dust settles on those. And that is how everything.
Somewhat recently in my life, within the last year, it actually occurred to me that that's not a thing that I ever think of doing. Just the door itself. I'll do the trim and the parts on the door that get dirty, but I can't see the top of the door, so I just don't think of it.
It's a thing that I didn't do until I lived here in a house where things don't fit together quite right. Because they're all old and, shifty. So before now, I didn't think about it. But since living here, it is a thing that I am conscious of. It's also just really dusty here.
At least you guys don't have a cement plant. That creates a lot of dust for us.
Yeah. And so the other thing, we don't have central air. And so dust, when it gets in here, like it just pops right down. It doesn't go anywhere.
So many dead skin cells. So nice. So this is nothing to do with rural life, but it has something to do with small business owner life.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a feeling you haven't been personally affected by this yet, just because you have a slightly better situation than I do as far as your husband still makes a livable wage and all that fun stuff. But I was finally met with the situation that I know very well is a reality for small business owners. And I have helped people navigate through this difficult issue time and time again. And it finally is affecting me. And I don't know why I didn't see it coming. Not being able to get a loan from your bank because I don't have 2 years of tax returns for my business. So they won't count my income until then.
I did actually face this at the end of this last year. Yeah, because when we opened the bookstore, we put stuff on credit cards. That, we're managing, it's fine, but the interest on them sucks balls.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to deal with right now is that.
Yeah, so we were, and I knew this going in, working with the credit union. We talked about having a revolving line of credit that we could leverage as needed. So that's a thing that we are getting to do this year after I take care of our taxes this year, because technically our first year of taxes is literally only 2 months.
But will the bank still use that?
I have to wait till I file these ones. Yeah, I need 2 full years. So when we get our taxes done this season, so basically later this spring, we will apply to have a line of credit through our credit union where we do our business banking and get the stuff off of our credit cards because that interest is insane.
So bad.
So we're going to have the same amount of debt. We're just going to pay a lot less for it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a problem. And our credit union that we use is actually super generous. We've been trying to figure out workaround and they're like, well, we can give you guys a credit card But because you don't have the history, it's probably going to be just as high of an interest rate, if not higher, because we put it on our personal cards that, like, in our personal financial situation is obviously different from the businesses.
Yeah.
And so those credit cards are based off of our credit history. And so if we do it through the credit union, the interest rate is probably going to be more.
Yeah.
Boo to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so no, I do understand that. Also, like, from working with other small businesses and trying to connect them. And there are some like nonprofit lenders, but those are just as, I don't want to say predatory because that's not the right term. They're taking on a very high risk.
They are, yeah.
And so it's not always valuable to go that route either. If you have no other choice, sludging through that is fine. And this is probably not a popular opinion, but I have done it, use my credit cards instead of going through that process.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
because it's the path of least resistance.
Right.
It is.
Right.
It's the easiest, quickest. If you're at that stage where your business is running and you need cash immediately, you don't have time for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there's a lot of hoops, but sometimes the terms are pretty good if you get to a point where they will give you stuff.
Yeah, if you've got the time to play it out, then yes.
Yeah.
But for most of the people that are going to be needing that, or most of the people who have needed that over the last 5 years, are people who didn't have the time. We're absolutely losing small businesses due to a inability to access capital.
And this affects other aspects of the world, obviously, but I personally have been very aware of the limitations that come with banks giving mortgages out to people who make a decent amount of money, but there's so many reasons why you can't get a mortgage. I mean, student loan debt, whatever. Even if you're a fucking physician, sometimes it's not enough of an income. And it's just really interesting because I work obviously in the realm of housing. Habitat for Humanity has, I think, at least 10 houses that are finished and ready, and they are having a hard time getting people who are qualified. I mean, thankfully, they have tools that can help with down payment assistance and gap financing, but that's a lot of hoops to jump through too. Also, Habitat basically, you and I could probably qualify. Actually, I know for a fact I would qualify as a potential applicant because a lot of people think their houses are only for low income people, but it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, banks they're pissing me off lately. Everything's pissing me off lately. There's so many things to be mad at.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Let's switch it up today.
Let's do it.
I'll bring you some sunshine, buddy.
Okay, let's do it. I love this.
I love to be a fucking grump. I love to be mad about things. I'm so good at it. But no, so I made myself a note here so that I would remember to tell you. So there's an organization near our community. It's actually in Mayo. It's called the Asabal Inclusion Center. And it is a faith-based community center geared toward serving families and members of the community that are LGBTQ plus. If I'm missing letters, I apologize. Legitimatua, the building they're in it because it was available. They needed to be in this area. They serve Crawford, Ogama, and Roscommon County. So they wanted to be in this area, and this was just, the property was a landing place because that area is obviously not very well populated and it's not super convenient to get to. But they had the parcel, they had the asset, and they're using it. So a couple of things came up. I got to meet with their deacon, Beck, who is an absolute delight. He's super cool. And when they were opening up last year, they went through the bookstore to start their library, which was really cool that I got to make that connection with them. They had funding for it. We did what we could to make their money stretch as far as we could, which was really neat. And so recently we hosted a book signing with an author that they brought to our area, which was really cool. There were some girls, I'm going to say middle schoolish, in the shop a few weeks ago.
Maybe.
they were looking for some books that were queer centric, because one of them is trying to be an a-hole to their parents. I'm just like, I'm putting gay shit everywhere. Okay, babe, you do you. And the other two are having some more hesitation about that. Like, they weren't as comfortable about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little bit eavesdropping on their conversation. We have a small shop. It's not hard to hear what people are talking about. And we have a poster up for Ensemble Inclusion Center because they offer like group setting kind of discussion and resources for families that maybe don't quite get it, right? Which is unfortunately not uncommon up here.
Right.
So I share this with them, and then they were talking about it at school, how I had told them about the inclusion center and how it was a cool thing. And so a person overheard it at school, and that person reached out to Ensemble Inclusion Center and said, how do we get you here? How do we get those things in our community? And it's a person that I'm friends with. And so then she reaches out to me. She's like, I talked to Deacon Beck, and we're going to meet and have a chat about this. And I want to help them with their cause, and I want to see what we can do. I was like, that's so cool. They're so friendly over there. And she's telling me, she's like, these girls were talking about how someone had told them about it. And I think it was you that told them about it. I was like, nah, it's definitely me. I know exactly what you're talking about. So this past week, the person from the school hosted a meet and greet and a meeting of the minds so that we could get some in-person programming set up here in Grayling, that their center could essentially have a place to facilitate, have a place in town. Because one of the things we talked about was transportation. Accessibility is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to this meeting, I had an idea in my head about who I thought from around our community would probably show up to it. I was not surprised by anyone that was there, which made me feel good that I know good people, and they're all people that I hang out with. Like, but then also having this ongoing conversation was really quite eye-opening to me. One of the couples that was there, these two ladies, they're relatively new to Grayling. I want to say they've been here 5-ish years. They've got 2 teenage sons. They've been married for 25 years. They lived on the East Coast, and they lived in a fairly liberal area before they moved here.
So the culture shock is probably like, what the fuck? Yeah.
And so one of them is telling us, it's actually been really nice. We felt pretty welcome here. We haven't had any problems being out and being lesbians in our community. Nobody has said anything stupid, blah, blah, blah. And that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Which I already knew that. Like, Kate and Stacy have been running their business here for 10 years with no problems.
Yeah.
But it does come up, especially with youth, that they're not coming out until they're left home, because there is still that stigma where it's different as an adult who's comfortable in their choices, coming in and being like, well, fuck off. If you don't like it, that's a you problem. Yeah. As opposed to, a 13-year-old who doesn't have that same confidence, right? So we were having these lovely conversations. And so one of those ladies go to a church downtown, and because Ensemble Inclusion is faith-based, they're like, we can use our church to host things. And I was like, yeah, that's great. You guys can always use the bookstore. I'm happy to open the door. I'll be there. It's a safe space. I'm fine by that. And then we have another space in our downtown adjacent that I think is also a viable space that's not a church. And she was like, well, we have great facilities. And they do. I'm not complaining about the church. They do. But we kind of were going back and forth about it. And in my heart and in my brain, I'm like, nah, like, we can't do this in a church. I'm sorry, we can't. The church is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it might prevent people from utilizing.
Yeah. And even Beck, who is a deacon, was like,
oh, yeah.
Do we have a different choice? And he was telling us, he's like, when we moved into the facility we're now, when we moved into that church, he's like, I took down all of the religious things because it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Understandably.
Especially in this like vulnerable demographic. And so finally the gal who was like, we can use the church, because she is very involved with the church and has very good relationships with them. Her wife finally was like, babe, no, I don't want to go to your church. I have trauma with that. And I'm a grown woman who has been to therapy and figured my life out.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but we cannot do it at the church.
So are you going to do it at your store?
We are.
Yay, this is
So
fun. I love it.
we're going to host some programming at the shop, even if I think it's just going to start out with a small youth group that can have a chat, and then we'll have an opportunity for parents to also come in and have a chat or get their questions answered or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. This is why I'm not allowed to teach, because I don't understand people who don't make sense. I just have no patience for stupidity.
Yeah.
Why do you care if your son wants to look at girl butts or boy butts? The fuck does it matter? So there's that. We all spent a couple hours together and had a really great conversation about what some of the needs are in our community, who we think is being left behind, and how we can do outreach to those groups. And here in Crawford County and in Grayling, we do have I feel like a respectable number of resources for families and individuals who are socially, economically challenged. So we've got, I think, resources, generally speaking, for folks who need housing assistance, who need food assistance. We don't have a great housing stock. We absolutely are not, but we have the resources in place. We have the mechanisms so that when the physical property is available, we can activate it, which I think is cool. But we don't have a lot of services not even services, just outlets for our queer community. I'm not going to say we're an unsafe place here, but as we have previously discussed on this podcast, it is questionable enough that we need more services, more resources for that demographic that is getting left behind.
That is wonderful.
So instead of just being pissed off about everything,
yay,
I am reluctantly getting back into
being the positive
community
change that people need. Yes.
Which is, my experiences with that here have been difficult.
Hit or miss.
And I'm
touch and go.
Looking forward to a little change of pace and doing something a little bit different. But it was really nice though to to organically cross paths with a different person in a different circle. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I know you guys both. Like
all of a sudden,
sure, let's do a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
I
also
I was gonna say, like, in Beck sounds like another fictional character in your lineup of random people that you talk about. I don't know why that cracks me up, but anyway, keep going.
That one's a real person. We also had like a really fun conversation about privilege and perception.
Ooh.
So Deacon's partner is non-binary. Definitely presents masculine, but their name is Kay. They go by they, them. And also presents as like predominantly Caucasian when they are mixed race. And so we got to have a fun little conversation about the perception of people, because it started with people just talk shit. They think that looks like a safe person that they can say something stupid to. And then that person is like, tell me more, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, because it's this person who presents masculine, who presents Caucasian, but you don't know anything about them.
Right, exactly.
And so you've had that comfort, which was funny because literally right after having that conversation, this cue that phones are always listening. I was on the socials and came across a story about a woman who is in a polyamorous relationship with a straight white guy who does have another lover, and she also does, and he plays hockey, and not that many people know about his style. And so he was in a locker room and people were just talking shit about the gays, in my air quotes, right? And so then he was like, fuck you, and just put them in their place. And he's a large burly man. She's like, it's my favorite thing. She's like, people have no idea. And they think because you look a certain way that they can just say whatever they want to, and they assume you're going to be on their team.
Right.
Which is fascinating to me. I have the opposite problem. Not the opposite problem. I have the same problem. I assume that everybody is not an asshole.
Yeah, I do that too.
Wild.
In my interactions, I'm always like, of course you hate Trump and love other humans and want other people to be happy no matter what they are who they are. But yeah, that's often not the case, unfortunately. So many foot and mouth issues, but whatever.
I
That's their
stopped
problem, not
apologizing.
mine, right?
Yeah. I did recently just decide that I'm going to be a menace. Like, I mean, it was
Can I
already
call
kind
you
of a
Dennis?
menace.
Dennis.
I mean, it was already kind of a menace before, but I'm just leaning into it now. I was
Do it.
telling Liam last night, I'm just fucking done with this. Like, we
If
have
there
reached the
are,
point of no return. I'm
yes,
sorry. I'm not going to be polite anymore.
there's
I'm
no
over it.
decorum coming from the other side, which I hate saying that. Just acknowledging that there are sides is stupid in and of itself.
It
But
is stressful. Yeah.
that no one else is holding back. So why
Why am
should
I?
we
Yeah. I'm going to put up a giant fucking pride flag in
do
my
it?
front window at the store. I don't even
Yeah,
care anymore. I told Liam
good.
I would fight him. And he was like, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
that
fight you.
sucks. Okay, I hope so. I
He
hope you
did
don't get put on the
concede.
couch again, or attempt it anyway.
It was so funny because, full disclosure, because I was feeling bad because I was very mean.
He can
And so,
take
like,
it. It's
I
fine.
did go downstairs, like, fuck you. I will go downstairs. And then I sat on the couch for like 3 minutes and I was like, this is so stupid. What am I doing? I am tired and I'm not going to be uncomfortable, dumb. And I came up here and just got in bed.
Dude, I have a feeling you are supposed to leave soon. So, okay, wrapping up. Funny thing that happened. I did think of a story that I shared with you in our chat, but it's worth revisiting. Oh my God. Hi. That was creepy.
I'm wrapping up, sis. We'll leave in a few minutes. Go start the car.
So I was doing my driving around high thing for a while, and I got back home, and sometimes if there's a good song on, I'll just chill and listen to it and check my phone or whatever. So I'm looking at my phone and I open up Instagram messages and I see this little comic of two spiders on a web hanging. One spider in one of the frames swings out. And then it comes back, and the other spider's like, did you just fart? So I saw that, and for some reason, it seemed like a thing that my friend Scott, or who I call Scuttles, would send me. And so I responded with laughing, and then I responded with a personal story that had just happened to me, which was... I farted so bad in the Taco Bell drive-thru today. And then I realized that I was the next car that was going to be at the window. And as I open my window, I know the fart smell is wafting out to the poor guy taking my money. So I opened both of my front windows. So there's a cross breeze. And then it pushes it right into the face of the person giving me my food.
Girl, you don't need this.
Said I felt like I was winning at life. So then, in addition to just that ridiculous story that I just felt like I should share with my friend Scott, I took a screenshot of it because I wanted to send the funny story to my husband because I thought it was worth sharing. And then I realized I was already chatting with my husband the whole time. And I was just, this is me like sitting in my car in my driveway, high as fuck. So I took a screenshot and then I'm like, this whole time I thought you were Scuttles. I was about to send you a screenshot of our own shit because I wanted you to see how funny it was. But yeah, I was a little toasty. It's fine. It was fun. It was a fun experience. It's just like you with Liam, who you didn't even realize he was home. You're just waiting for him to show up with your Wendy's. He's already there. Wait, I think your mic turned off. What happened?
It did turn off.
Okay, but now I can
hear you. Because I grabbed it to say I too have sent people screenshots of the conversation we're having. I'm pretty sure I do that to Sharon at least once a month. Like, or sometimes I do it on purpose because I'll send messages and then she won't reply. And so then I screenshot it and I'm like, bitch, did you not read these?
It's pretty funny. It's like sending per my last email. That's kind of passive aggressiveness in what you're doing.
Yeah. I do it. Yeah. I do it to my mom too.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, next week I'll record from Denver because I'll be at Winter Institute for book things. Sis and I are taking a train.
Whoa.
Yeah. We leave on
God.
Saturday morning out of East Lansing. East Lansing is Chicago, Chicago to Denver. And then we come home the following weekend.
Are you going to fly back or?
No, we're going to take the train back. I'm not fully out of this right now. I'm not going to lie. This is in pet peeves. The lack of air traffic controllers right now is super stressful to me.
A little bit, yeah.
And so I've known this trip was coming. I just don't have I do have a significant amount of confidence in pilots. Okay. I don't by any means, I'm not mad at any individuals who are highly qualified saying, no, I'm not going to work for, 30% of what I was getting before. Fuck right off. So I'm not upset about that at all. Obviously my agitation and anger regarding this is 100% directed at the administration that is fucking all the things up. So I have some anxieties about air travel right now, which usually is not a big deal. I would just drive, but I don't mind driving. But driving in February between Michigan and Colorado is dicey.
That's dicey for sure.
And because in this particular instance, like I have timelines, like I need to be places at particular times, I decided we take the train. It takes about the same amount of time as if I drove, but like I don't have to drive. So there's that.
Are you getting a sleeping car and everything?
We are. So we are doing, Sis and I are doing a roomette for our long haul. So it's 2 seats. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Amtrak. It's 2 seats that face each other, just normal, but then you can lay it down and then there's another level on the top that comes down. So it's bunk beds. So the Chicago to Denver, we get into Denver at 7:30 a.m. That's like an 18-hour haul across there. Wow. And so to have a space where we can lay down and actually get some sleep and then be able to function the day that we get there is going to be really great. And then coming home, we leave Denver at 7 in the evening and spend the night on the train and then get to Chicago midday. So again, we get a whole day that we actually don't have anything scheduled. So we're going to hang out with my mom. We'll hang out with my gran, and we don't have to be at the train station 10 fucking hours early.
Right.
We can either, half hour, 45 minutes, and it's fine.
You just show up.
It's all checked bags. Yeah. We carry our luggage with us. There's no. And so I'm looking forward to a train trip. I have not traveled by train domestically. In Europe, I did a handful of train trips. Ooh. I've never done a train trip in the US.
Well, I will tell you, and this is something, I mean, the only train rides I've ever taken were either from Windsor, Ontario to Toronto, or from Detroit to Chicago. So never a long ride. Those are, I would say, kind of equal distance, those two. One of the things that I was thinking about as you were talking about this is a conversation that I had recently with Cash Cook, the other fictional character that comes up here and again.
In our lives.
Yeah. He was talking about trying to get passenger rail to Kankowska. That's a thing that he's been trying to.
He's very passionate.
For. And I knew by experience, by being on a passenger train and knowing what causes delays. However, for some reason, when he was describing the way rail is funded, it says everything we need to know about our society today. The fact that no matter what, the priority is freight. That means if for some reason there is a freight train that needs the rail that you are on, your train will have to stop and get out of the way and sit there for who knows how long until the freight is through. And there's usually some delays. So just count on that. We prioritize stuff over people. And money over people.
Yeah, product over people, for sure.
It's so stupid and I hate everything. But anyway, okay. The book recommendation.
Yeah, so Cash has had a very interesting life. We've discussed this before. So one of the things that he used to do was charter boats, ferry boats to other places. So you'd sail from Florida to the Dominican Republic or some shit, moving yachts for people, which, by the way, is what happened to his fingers. Liam's dad, his father passed away in 2020, and his godfather who was best friends with his dad, is very ill right now. He's in hospice care. And so I was telling Cash about this. He's not well. He has a sailboat. His daughter has sent the boat out with a crew of pirates, as she has been calling them, to sail the boat because her dad's really sick. And the gist of it is, when he passes, the concept is that him and Chuck are going to end up on this sailboat that's already out in the ocean with a crew of pirates, and they're going to just have the trip of their lives in their afterlife. Okay. Which is beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love that for them. So I'm telling Cash about this. And the following week, he comes into the office and lends me a book. It's called Flirting with Mermaids. And it's basically a bunch of short stories like of this guy who would move yachts for people and all the fucking weird shit that he got into.
Oh my God.
So I've been reading it. It's been a delight.
Is this book actually about Cash and we don't know?
He says it is not. It is his book. He claims it's not about him, but I was telling him about this and he was like, "You're going to love this. You're going to enjoy this read right now." Cash is just a very thoughtful person. I'm in the middle of Flirting with Mermaids right now, but I did just finish Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline, which are dark, sexy, pervy shit. Okay. We'll have to have a chat about those too.
Okay. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are they audios? Should I partake?
Yeah, you can listen to them.
Prepare? Okay.
Okay, sure. I'm going to tell you right now, take the trigger warnings very seriously because they are not fucking around. There's gun and knife play. There is blood. There is stalking. There is non-consensual situations. They do talk about human trafficking. What else? I think that's all the warnings for Haunting. Hunting has a couple different ones, but the first one, I mean, if you just Googled Haunting, I'm not ruining this. I'm not spoiling this for anyone because it's so easy. If you Google Haunting Adeline, like one of the first things that comes up is getting pleasured with a gun.
God.
Yeah.
I have something to tell you offline about a drill that...
Babe, great.
I'll leave it at that. We'll just leave the mystery out there.
I'll decide if it's worth sharing, guys. Don't worry. I'll probably... I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, if you like dirty, dark romance, I use romance kind of loosely. Dirty, dark, perv shit. Haunting and Hunting Adeline.
All right.
10 out of 10.
I know what I'm listening to when I drive to Lansing tonight.
It's fucking long too. I listened to everything on double time and it was still 7 hours. So it was...
Damn.
Yeah. So I mean, that means that the regular runtime is almost 15 hours.
Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fun.
But it is. Do recommend. Hunting, I could have skipped the whole first half of the book and been perfectly satisfied with it. But still, it was fun. So, all right. I have to do things for Clyde before I have to go to work.
Responsible things to do with other people in your life.
Okay. I love you and I missed you and I'm so glad that we're back.
We are back. I love you. And I love everyone that listens. Thank you for the encouragement.
Yes. Have a beautiful afternoon, Lindsey.
You too.
And anyone else who's listening, or beautiful day. I don't know, whenever you're listening to this.
Yeah. Beautiful morning, night, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bang, bang. Goes the golden magnum.
If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe to our podcast and head to doublechinswagon.com to learn how you can email or call our hotline to share your thoughts on our recent discussions. We love to interact with you and are always looking for guests as well. Thanks so much for listening. Now go and live your best life today.